Right, continuing coverage, and we have a Fox News on what happened on Friday. 3 Americans hailed as heroes this morning after taking down an armed terrorist on a train from Amsterdam to Paris in Europe. Does this prove American military personnel are the best equipped to stop terror in its tracks? They did get significant help from a Brit as well as a Frenchman. Sean Parnell is a retired U.S. Army captain and ranger, a senior advisor at Concerned Veterans for America, and he's been awarded 2 Bronze Stars and a Purple Heart. All right, Captain Parnell, if you're not a captain, how do we get that type of action in that similar type of situation from ourselves?
Well, you just have to be aware of your surroundings. Take your face out of your phone. If you're on a train, you're on a subway, take a look around. And if you see something, we don't live in a world, we live in the age of terrorism. If you see something, you can't just afford to say something. If you see something, you've got to take action. You've got to do something. And that's exactly what these 3 American heroes did on that train.
So you see how they, one was woken up, hears the click, and they run towards the rifle. However, it seems as though the conductors ran and hid. Wrong response. Also, some were inspired to help out when they saw the Americans move. Where do you get the leadership in a situation like that to take action rather than sit back, to be more like Flight 93 and not a victim?
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, I think as Americans, we have that in us. I mean, when I was watching this story unfold, I couldn't help but think of 9/11. I couldn't help but think of those New Yorkers running into the fire to save people that they didn't even know. Couldn't help but think of Flight 93 and that let's roll moment to take that plane down, sacrifice themselves to save lives. And these 3 American heroes on that train are no different. They ran to the sound of gunfire to thwart an attack. I mean, you're trained to do that kind of stuff in the military. You're trained to take action. God help us all if we ever find ourselves in a situation like that. If they don't take action, they die.
But, Sean, is it also something that you could do as a civilian now is start visualizing different scenarios and start visualizing yourself taking action and not sitting back, not cowering in fear but moving forward? That help?
Yeah, it absolutely helps. I mean, I think we have to do that. We can't just afford to say things anymore. You've got to visualize yourself taking action to stop an attack like that. We don't have a choice anymore, Brian. We live in an age of terrorism where American citizens have got to stand up and fight back. I mean, we're in the middle of a war. Even if we don't think that we're in a war, our enemy does, and that means we're at war right now. And like you said earlier, there's no front lines. You know, the war is all around us. It's an asymmetric fight, and we've got to take a stand and fight back. And the best way to do that is to step up and take action.
And remember, we had 2 military guys, one guy from Afghanistan, the other an Air Force, coming out of the Air Force. But Anthony Sadler is a Sacramento State student, and they all acted the same way. Great American stories, and extremely proud. Thanks so much for joining us, Sean, for everything you've done for the country and for your wisdom today.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. Always a pleasure being here.
Okay, 10 minutes down before the bottom.